Welcome to the Providence College Podcast. My name is Joe Carr, and our producer today is Chris Judge. If you want to feel even better about your association with Providence College, you've come to the right place. We're pleased today to share a conversation with Doug Kingsley, a 2016 PC graduate who exemplifies the commitment to service that is one of PC's core ideals. From a student leadership position in campus ministry and ROTC to service in the Army to his work as a Sherborn, Massachusetts police officer, Doug is walking the walk. And that's a cliche I'm using on purpose because Doug recently completed a walk all the way across Massachusetts to raise money and awareness for a good cause. Doug, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us more about your work as a police officer in that Metro West town of Sherborn. How long have you been on the force there?
So I've been on the job over in Sherborn for about 3 years or so right now. I joined back in 2019 as a dispatcher right off the bat while I was waiting for an opportunity to attend a police academy. When the opportunity came to go to the police academy, I attended that for 22 weeks up in Reading, Massachusetts. And ever since I graduated from that, I've been an officer on the road. It's your normal suburban town in Massachusetts. It's kind of a small farm town, about 5,000 residents, but I've been working the job ever since graduating the academy, and I'm loving every minute of it.
And we're talking at 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon. You're getting ready for your shift to begin in a couple of hours, right?
Exactly. So I'm currently on the eve shift from 3 p.m. till 11 o'clock at night. So
it's a beautiful town, and it's the town you grew up in, right? So you're familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
How does this connect with the line from ROTC through your military service to the police force? Is there a thread there that you followed?
A little bit. There's definitely a service to the community, service to the country, service to the state, which I try to kind of keep in mind. When I first joined ROTC, I thought I wanted to go full-time Army, go active duty. When that didn't become a reality, I decided to go into the National Guard, serve for Rhode Island. And then at the same time, I was able to start a civilian career in law enforcement. So I could work the military 1 month, 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, at the same time that I'm doing civilian law enforcement. So there is a kind of an overlap in terms of training and whatnot, but they do have their differences as well, working in the military as well as working for your local municipality. So
and your service in the Rhode Island National Guard continues, correct?
Correct. So I just got to my 7th year in the Rhode Island National Guard.
When we talk with alumni or other people with a connection to PC, we often like to find out what brought our guests to the college in the first place. So how did you find your way here as a student?
So, wow, it feels like so long ago.
Tell me about it.
I was attending a Catholic high school, 7 through 12. And when I was starting to look at colleges, I was looking at colleges that had the same values and the same feel as the high school I went to. And the high school I went to is very, as a classical education, very unapologetically Catholic. So as soon as I stepped foot on Providence, I remember the day I went for a tour. I spoke with Father Shanley at the time. I fell in love with the place. It mimicked the experience I already had from high school, but at a collegiate level, and I loved every minute of it. And I think I put my application in, that week, and thank goodness I made it, and I loved every 4 years of it, attending it. So it was great.
And that high school, by the way, deserves a little credit and a little attention here. That's St. Sebastian's, which has sent a number of people to Providence College over many, many years. So a great connection.
Exactly.
Did you get involved in campus ministry right away?
Right off the bat, when once I got the acceptance letter, I started looking at ways to kind of get my foot in the door and kind of get acclimated to Providence. I did the first year of the FaithWorks program in August before the school year even started, which was a week-long program where you're kind of immersed in the community, not just in Providence, but the greater, not just at PC, but the greater Providence community. I did some community service around the city. On campus. It was a great way to meet freshmen right off the bat. So, and then from there on, I was pretty involved with campus ministry whether it's altar serving, training the altar servers for a little while, leading a retreat my senior year, and everything in between. So definitely, I kind of try to get into that, full force.
For any listeners who have been around PC or were around PC during the time when Doug was a student, you probably noticed him if you attended one of the masses, because Doug was the tallest altar server I've ever seen. So it was a real presence on the altar, which is a great thing for sure. Obviously, your faith life is a very important part of the way that you navigate through your life. And I'd like to ask you about how that developed when you were at PC. You had all these experiences and you clearly focused on taking advantage of those opportunities to a significant extent.
Well, I was raised in a very Irish Catholic household. I attended K through college and Catholic school. When I got to PC, it wasn't hard to keep up with my faith and practicing. It helped that they had mass daily, and it was right in the center of campus, and I was walking to it from class. I would duck into the chapel for mass or just to say some prayers, or I'd go into the campus ministry center and talk with the priests and some of my fellow classmates. So it was definitely great to have my faith throughout college, and it was at the center of the college, literally having the chapel right there, and figuratively, I guess. So, yep.
Who are some of the people who we consider to be influences on you during your time at PC, especially with respect to the faith development?
I think the first priest who I was put in contact with when I got to campus before he even was accepted was Father Ertl, God rest his soul. He was a great influence on me in the months leading up to attending, as well as my time on campus. He was great. I had a very close relationship with Father Cuddy. He was a good friend of mine. I still talk to him every so often. So a bunch of the priests out there were really big influences on my time at PC. And then all of the classmates and the students that I met through campus ministry, I went on retreats with, or I met during FaithWorks, they were all big influences on me throughout my time at PC. And then now, since then, actually, I'm still in contact with all my classmates who I met day 1, day 2, day 3. So I could spend hours naming everyone, but that would take up way too much time. Off the top of my head, it was definitely those priests, and then all my classmates. So
sure. It was Father Cuddy, by the way, who connected me with you for the purpose of this podcast, especially to talk about your project over the summer, which we'll get to in just a minute or two. So it's obvious that there's, as we suggested earlier, a thread here when we talk about campus ministry, ROTC, military service, police work, and that thread is service to others. What inspires you to that, and where do you find the humility that it takes to be selfless in the service to other people?
It was definitely I got to attribute to my family, my upbringing. Like I said, going to the high school I went to, and then going to Providence College, they instilled in you the importance of service and giving back to those around you, your community, your country. But it started at a young age where, my parents would tell me to give back to the community, whether it's through helping out at the church, going to the local soup kitchen, or whatever the case may be. They really instilled that in me at a young age, and I tried to carry that through my life ever since. So when I got to Providence College and I had the opportunity to start ROTC, I jumped at the opportunity, and I actually just started it as just some way to stay active and kind of get acclimated to the college. But I fell in love with it, just the ability to have some sort of structure to my first couple months on campus, but then also being able to serve and have that the ability to kind of give back a little bit. And then when I was joining the National Guard, I chose to stay local. I stayed in Rhode Island. I could have gone to the Massachusetts National Guard, but Rhode Island means a lot to me, and I wanted to give back to that community as well, because it played a very pivotal role in my development as a young adult. And then joining the police department was another way to give back to the town that I grew up in the people who I grew up with. So like I said, it started at a young age, and I always try to keep serving in one way or another. So
great to hear you give credit to your parents there, because we
definitely.
at PC, we benefit at PC from their commitment to service, because they are great supporters of the college. Your father, Doug, also named Doug, as a member of the board of trustees. Your mother, Joan, very involved too, and they provide great leadership support and guidance to Father Sicard, Father Shanley before him, and the college's senior leadership. So you brought a family to PC when you came with you. So
I did.
extra credit.
I can tell you, my parents always say that they wish they went to PC. They fell in love with it just as much as I did when I started going there. So they're very involved even to this day.
Well, let's turn our attention now to Massachusetts Cop Walk, which is the project you undertook this summer of your own volition and inspiration, a 220-mile, 12-day walk across the state, west to east, in the month of October. What was it that inspired you to do this, and tell us about the cause that it was meant to support?
So initially, it started off as me wanting to just stay active. Policing can be a little bit of a sedentary job, and but then it kind of developed into a way to raise awareness for a cause, which means a lot to me. In law enforcement, as well as in the military, there are a lot of stressors which can get to you and kind of affect you mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I've seen it on a very personal level. I sadly had some close friends struggle with their mental health, and sadly, one or two of them took their life because of that. So I wanted to raise awareness for first responder, military, suicide awareness, and mental health. So I kind of paired up with an organization called First Help, which focuses on first responders and their mental health. And I wanted to get out into the community and speak with first responders on a personal level. I can raise awareness very easily, posting stuff to social media or kind of doing things remotely, but I wanted to physically get out into the community and speak with first responders, walk with people and share my story and hear their story, to raise awareness. So it kind of developed from, I think August 1st was the first day I came up with this idea. From August 1st until I stepped off on October 12th. I started planning. I started reaching out to these different departments, not just police, but fire, EMS, dispatchers, just to tell my story, explain why I was doing what I was doing, raise that awareness, and then it kind of snowballed from there, and it turned into this enormous thing where the media got wind of it, and it did exactly what I wanted to do, was raise the awareness and actually get out into the community and speak with these people face to face and walk with people and share my story. So absolutely unbelievable adventure. Considering doing it again next year.
Great. Yeah. Also raised some money, right, for Blue Help, which is a subset of First Help. And I was doing some reading this morning about Blue Help, and I thought to share the mission statement for Blue Help would be interesting. It's there to reduce mental health stigma through education, advocate for benefits for those suffering from post-traumatic stress, acknowledge the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers we lost to suicide, assist officers in their search for healing, and to bring awareness to suicide and mental health issues. Well, what a worthy cause, and good for you for providing that support. We will share information in the show notes about how to find out more about that organization and in fact support it, which would be great to build upon Doug's excellent work over this summer. What was it like walking across the state? You shared the story on Facebook and Instagram very well with pictures and testimonials from people, but everywhere you went, you were greeted, escorted, and really supported by so many people.
It was, again, an unbelievable journey, a little emotional at times. I used it on a more personal level as kind of almost like a pilgrimage to kind of better myself mentally, spiritually, and physically. But the reception I got was fantastic from start to finish. I thought when I first planned this that it was going to be me with my pack, just walking down the road and kind of maybe bumping into a couple people here and there. But as people heard about what I was doing and why I was doing it, they came out of the woodwork. I think on the week leading up to my first day, a retired Massachusetts State Trooper got wind of this out in Western Mass, and he worked his magic. And on day one, I had Massachusetts State Troopers. Since I started at the New York border, I had New York State Troopers, sheriffs, local police. They all came out to wish me luck and to wish me, on my way, or see me on my way. And right off the bat, I had people walking with me, people supporting me. I would walk by police departments, and they'd be out there in front of the station, cheering me on or welcoming me in and giving me, coffee or something. So, and that started day one all the way through day 12. So the reception was fantastic, and being able to get out there and speak with these individuals and talk to them. We didn't always talk about, mental health and suicide awareness, but just having a genuine conversation with people. It's something that, is lacking in a sense in the career and in that line of work. So being able to actually talk to these people is awesome, and just share stories.
Is there a sense of fraternity among people who work in law enforcement? These are obviously very stressful jobs, so you share experiences that nobody else can really understand or appreciate.
There's definitely a fraternity. It's definitely a community, both first responders and the military. And we do have shared experiences, and sometimes those experiences aren't very, very good. We see things that the normal person's not supposed to see. And there used to be the stigma, or there used to be this, unspoken rule that you don't talk about it. You don't bring up these things that you see. You kind of just keep it to yourself and power through and keep working. But that's unhealthy. And that's what I'm trying to bring to people's attention, that it's not a sign of weakness to say that you need help or bring up these things. It's actually a sign of strength to say, hey, I saw this, I saw this, I saw that. I'm struggling through it. I can use it. You can use a hand. It definitely helps to have my faith as well, to fall back on as well, and have a good faith community as well. So, yeah.
And those are ideals that we embrace here at Providence College too. This is meant to be a place where people are supported, welcomed, and embraced, no matter where they are in their journey, right?
Exactly. I mean, I got a great reception from my classmates from Providence as well when they heard what I was doing, reaching out to me, wishing me luck, saying good luck. I love what you're doing. Support you 100% of the way. So.
What was it like when you reached out and touched the Atlantic Ocean in Chatham on October 23rd? What did that feel like?
It was a little emotional, actually, especially since the turnout on that last day was so great. It's kind of an overcast day, but people came out of the woodwork. I had firefighters there, police officers there. My entire family was there, some close friends. So yeah, it was a little emotional. See, right off the bat, it didn't really click the extent of my journey or what it is that I had just accomplished. And it kind of, sunk in over the next couple of days. But it was a very cool feeling to think that I had just done that. I had just touched so many lives, and I had just, I had accomplished my goal of raising awareness, and it was great. It was a great feeling.
In addition to putting the link to the Blue Help website in the show notes, we'll also put the link to Doug's Instagram handle for this journey, because really, I'll say it again, the social media is excellent. So anybody can go back now and relive this with you through the pictures and videos. I loved your daily updates. You looked into the camera and said, here's what I did today, and here's what it felt like. Really, exactly. It was real, and it really made the story come alive. Great to have those channels, right, and ways to share the story and to build upon it. Logistics. This is about 20 miles a day, right?
Give or take,
almost. Yeah.
When I was planning it out, I was talking to some people who have done this sort of thing. I have a cousin who was military as well, and since he got out, he goes on walks. He's done the Camino, he's done the Appalachian Trail and the Continental Divide. He's hiked for almost a living. So I talked to people like him to kind of get what's realistic. How many miles can I walk? Logistic, speaking, where should I be staying? What should I be wearing? What should I be packing? That sort of thing. Logistics was kind of a nightmare to begin with. But I had a good support group. I had my mom there with me, my dad, my brothers. They all supported me through the entire thing. And then the police departments, fire departments, they were offering places to stay, places to eat, something as simple as coffee. It all worked out in the end. And I think it was also, thank God, God was looking out for me too. There were some times where I was thinking to myself, is this really doable? 20 miles a day, every day for 12 straight days. But it all worked out in the end, and here I am. So
I remember having the thought while this was happening that, boy, Doug is getting good weather.
Thank goodness.
There wasn't much rain at all, was there? I mean, I think just about every day was pretty nice.
I think we had maybe 2 days. It didn't rain all day, but when I was coming through the Springfield area, the morning, West Springfield, or I started in Westfield through West Springfield. There was a couple hours of rain. And then the day I was coming into Franklin, down Route 140, there was a 3-hour block of rain as well. But a part of the journey is, embracing the discomfort. And I had people there walking with me, and that helped as well. So it was great.
No, October is the ideal time, right, of year to do something like this. So
Exactly.
I'm sure you didn't pick that by accident. You lived in New England long enough to figure that out. So
well, when I was training too, it was August and September, and I was walking to get prepared, and it was 95 degrees and sunny. It was kind of miserable. But then when I actually started working, I was out in the Berkshires, and the foliage, and it was cooler mornings. It was great. So fantastic.
Beautiful state, that's for sure. How would you characterize the level of success you had in reaching whatever goals you set for yourself? I left that broad on purpose, because that could be personal fulfillment, that could be money, that could be anything in that range. Do you feel like it was everything you hoped it would be?
I think it was much more than that. Like I said, I thought it was just going to be me with my pack and walking along, and it was so much more. I set a goal of, on a financial level, I think it was $10,000. And I thought it might be tough to meet that goal. And we met it before I even started walking. But then once I started walking, the donations all came in. I think I'm still getting donations today. I think we got to about 27,000, which was great. But on a not so financial level, it was so much more than I expected. The turnout, the awareness that I raised, the fact that I was getting phone calls from, these media outlets from not just Massachusetts, but Providence was reaching out to me, a news station up in New Hampshire. So I thought it was going to be a much smaller ordeal, and it turned into this, it snowballed into this big thing. And it did exactly what I wanted to do. It raised the awareness. I got out in the community. I spoke to these people. So it was an unbelievable journey, to say the least.
By the way, the Blue Help website is really great in many ways, and it's worth, if you go there, hopefully to support Doug's cause, to read some of the testimonials is incredible about what this organization has done for people who have lost family members to first responder family members to suicide. It's really an inspiring thing. So what a great cause you picked to support here. By the way, how many towns is this? Crossing Massachusetts, gonna be close to 50?
I think it was close to 50. I ended up cutting through a couple, just the bottom half of a couple that I didn't even realize I was going through.
Right.
Especially out near like the Plymouth area. I saw a street sign and I didn't realize I was in a certain town, like Kingston or something like that. So I think there were about 50 towns.
Put it on the list. Yeah, it makes the number, adds the number up. That's a good thing. It's not, if it's one step, it counts. That makes sense. One thing about Providence College people is that they learn quickly. I understand that you're considering repeating this sort of next summer, but instead of all the way across a horizontal state, west to east, you're thinking about maybe you'll try it in the other direction, north-south or south-north?
It would be kind of cool to say that I've walked west to east across the state, and then say that the next year I decide to walk, south to north, north to south. But then somebody also brought up something that I'm considering as well, is turning it into almost like a relay to get more people involved and get more support as well. Where a first responder walks, one leg of the trip from one side of their town to the next, from one side of the county to the next, and then passes off the torch, in a manner of speaking, or the responsibility to somebody else, and they'll walk the next leg, and then they pass it off to somebody else, get the community more involved, get the word out there a little bit more. So that's also kind of on the table, but
that makes a little
determined.
That makes a lot of sense, because of the community involvement and the PR. Part of my brain thinks that it could also generate some more of that kind of interest, because it would involve people from the communities themselves. So people who are known quantities. Good idea. That's what I meant. See, PC people adjust course and come up with
always thinking
ways to improve. That all sounds great. Well, this has been a great conversation, Doug. I've been looking forward to this for a while. We're all really proud of what you've accomplished here. You're a credit to your alma mater, and this is a great cause. Thank you for doing that, and for taking the time to speak with us, and for your service to your community. It's all inspiring.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Our guest has been Doug Kingsley. You've been listening to the Providence College podcast. My name is Joe Carr. Our producer is Chris Judge. Thank you for joining us. Until next time.